Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Who's Judging podcast. I'm your host, Connor. It's just me today. Danny will be back eventually in a few episodes. Today might be one of my favorite episodes. We're talking about Tesla, one of the forefront companies in the environmental and electric vehicle and even vegan push. And so Tesla's mission overall supports sustainability and environmentalism. Tesla's mission is to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. Veganism is often seen as a way to reduce one's environmental footprint, as animal agriculture is a significant contributor to the greenhouse gas emissions. Now, Tesla is the largest producer of electric vehicles in the United States, making up over 60% of all sales. They're also one of the biggest globally as well. Always been a big player. They were a first mover for sure. In terms of market value, they are the largest car manufacturer in the entire world. That is huge for a sustainable and clean energy business. They've grown their profits from only $721 million in 2020 to $5.5 billion in 2021 to $12.5 billion last year. That's a remarkable 17.5x or 1,644% growth in 2 years. Now, people have this false opinion or idea that was pushed to them that Tesla grabs all of their profit from regulatory credits. Now, it was true at one point, but it has not been true since the first quarter of 2021, which was 2 years ago now. Last year, the credits made up only 14% of all profits. And, that's still a significant chunk of profits. But the thing for me is I don't understand why people see that as a negative. They're regulatory credits. Sure, they're given by the government, but they're given because Tesla sells clean energy and electric vehicles. They get them for selling environmentally friendly vehicles. Now they get the money because they sell them to companies that aren't meeting the quotas or aren't selling the electric vehicles. So companies like Ford and Volkswagen have in the past and are currently buying the credits from Tesla. And so that gives Tesla pure profit. But it's because Ford didn't want to move as far into the electric vehicles and Tesla did. They're being rewarded for helping the environment and pushing clean energy. I see that as a positive myself. And on top of that, all and every US car company or company that sells cars in the US is available, can get these credits. They are available to all of the manufacturers, not Tesla. So it's not an advantage that Tesla has. It's just an advantage that Tesla chose to take that other ones did not. In 2020, they delivered just shy of 500,000 vehicles. And in 2022, they delivered 1.3 million vehicles. Tesla doesn't just sell cars. They sell very, very safe cars. One of the safest on the roads. They have top ratings by all of the safety agencies. And on top of that, per Tesla's own reporting, the United States average is one car accident for every 500,000 miles driven. For a Tesla, even without their autopilot, that is one for every 1.75 million miles driven, which is already over 3 times the national average. Now here's where their autopilot comes into the picture. There's only one accident for every 6.33 million miles driven with their autopilot activated, which is over 12 times the national average. That's a huge increase in safety based on their technology, their driving technology. Now, that's not the picture you'd get from the media. All they post is crash, autopilot crash, while most of those didn't even have the autopilot on and are corrected months later. And so why is that a point for this podcast, for this show? I'm not just rambling here. Car accidents are huge negatives for the environment. Huge. Car accidents can result in the release of harmful gases such as carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxides, and volatile organic compounds into the air. These pollutants can contribute to the formation of smog and other air quality problems, as well as the hazardous chemicals getting into our water and our soil. So by crashing 12 times less, 12 times less likely to crash, it's cutting down it would cut down so far on the car accidents and would keep our environment cleaner from those atrocities. On top of that, obviously, that's on top of the obvious saving of human lives, as around 1.35 million humans die every year from car accidents or car crashes. And so that's obviously a vegan topic because we care about life. We care about all life. So saving lives is always at the forefront of our mission, not just non-human animals. But moving on to those ones, there's over 350 million vertebrate animals killed as roadkill from cars hitting them each year. 350 million. So now you reduce that so far with the autopilot, hopefully completely with the autopilot, if it just has to dodge an object like an animal. And so it's saving our planet, it's saving our humans, our race, and it's saving the species around us as well. That's huge all around. Now, not to say that if you accidentally hit an animal while you're driving, you're not vegan, but it would be awesome to save millions of these animals each year. That's the goal here. And now, moving on, personal vehicles are very important to cut down, and they're very awesome to have electric. But the new big product that's coming out from Tesla is their Tesla semi-truck. This is an important product as while delivery trucks and tractor trailers that distribute goods and cargo make up only about 4% of the cars on the road for the US. They're responsible for nearly half of the nitrogen oxide emissions and nearly 60% of the fine particulates from all vehicles and around 7% of all greenhouse gas emissions from the US. It's much, much easier to replace 4% of the vehicles on the road compared to all people's personal vehicles, their light trucks and their light cars. We can replace 4% of the vehicles on the road and eliminate over half of the emissions coming from vehicles on the road. That is why Tesla has moved there. It's an easier goal to reach, especially because it's companies paying for these for the most part, rather than people out of their own pockets that can't afford it as easily as the companies can. Now, their first customer was PepsiCo, Pepsi Company. Everyone knows them. They received theirs first. They got 36 out of their 100 order. They have 36 so far, and they used them to deliver Frito-Lay's products from its Modesto, California facility up to 425 miles on a single charge. They are also delivering Pepsi out of its Sacramento warehouse on a 100-mile daily routes, going directly to stores and making 300 to 400-mile runs to other warehouses even. And so that is huge. To get companies on board and to show, first of all, Pepsi to show that the truck exists, which people didn't think it did, in a working condition, and that it works how they said, going over 400 miles on one charge is huge. And it goes in line with what a lot of these businesses' goals are, which is to cut their global emissions to net zero. And so with these measures, this and solar and other things Pepsi has done at the Modesto factory, they have reduced their emissions by 90% at that factory already. And so, of course, everyone sees the Teslas driving on the road, but the semis are what's coming next. And I can't personally wait to see all of them going, knowing the impact that they are creating for our world and our future. And of course, Tesla. They not only own the cars on the road, they own a lot of the chargers on the way down your path and your journey. They own, they not only sell 60% of the vehicles in the US, they also own the vast majority of the fast or superchargers as well. Their supercharger network is often held up as the golden standard. It's reliable, it's fast, and it's plentiful, with about 40,000 chargers worldwide. Just last year, they grew those locations by 31%, which is a little under their growth in vehicles sold. But it's probably hard to keep up with the superchargers. But we should see a huge growth this year with government subsidies coming in as Tesla's mission aligns with the government's environmental goals now. And so they should see hundreds of millions, if not $1 billion, in subsidies to build them. And new news from this month, Tesla is officially opening up part of their supercharger network to outside vehicles, non Tesla electric vehicles. And so that should ease it. Although, of course, they sell 60% of the electric vehicles, but now they're opening it up to the other 40% in the US and just in the US now. And hopefully in the future that expands more, which obviously adds another revenue stream for Tesla. Now, moving on from cars completely, that's the main focus of their business, and to this point has been the majority of their revenue, but they're so much more than that. Their solar deployments increased by 18% year over year last quarter to 100 megawatts, one of the strongest quarters in recent years. And in all of 2022, they deployed 348 megawatts of solar, their highest deployment since 2017. So it's nice to see them back on track with their solar business, which has slumped and kind of been pushed out of the mainframe, out of the spotlight for their cars in recent years. Now, with those deployments, they are the third or fourth largest residential solar company in the entire United States. So they sell so many cars that their solar business is kind of hidden. It's not the fourth largest solar company, but it's the fourth largest residential solar company in the United States. So selling to houses only, that business. So putting it on the roofs or putting it in the backyards for, personal homes. And solar isn't even their biggest energy product. Their energy storage segment is so much more important. The two products in that division are the Powerwall and the Megapack. One is more residential, one is more commercial, a lot more commercial. The Powerwall is a home battery that pairs with your solar system to store energy so you can use it anytime you want or need, at night or even during an outage. It is like a renewable energy generator. That's the more residential product of the two. Costs anywhere between $10,000 and $15,000 each right now, I believe. Now, what is easily their biggest energy product now and especially in the future is the Megapack. It could even pass their car in sales within a few years from now. It is a powerful battery that provides energy storage and support, helping to stabilize the grid and prevent outages altogether. Megapacks store energy for the grid reliably and safely, eliminating the need for gas peaker plants and helping to avoid outages. Each unit can store over 3 megawatt hours of energy. That's enough energy to power an average of 3,600 homes for 1 hour. So one Megapack can power 3,600 homes for an hour, just one of them. Now, as the more commercial product, you're going to hear why right now, they cost on average around $2 million each. So they are more for utility companies or just companies in general. And they've been using them to build huge batteries to support grids. That's what they're there for, kind of to support the grid, not really to power it in general. And so, as I said, they build big batteries with them. There are a few case studies for this product. A Tesla subsidiary registered as Gambit Energy Storage LLC quietly built an 81 megapack, more than 100 megawatt energy storage project in Angleton, Texas, a town roughly 40 miles south of Houston. A battery that size can power about 20,000 homes on a hot summer day. That's huge. And especially for Texas, which has had grid problems in the past, it now has a huge battery that can kind of ease the grid stress levels. The next one is from Homer Electric. They installed a 37-unit, 46 megawatt system to increase renewable energy capacity alongside Alaska's rural Kenai Peninsula, reducing reliance on gas turbines and helping to prevent outages. Following that is the biggest one currently, which is the Victorian Big Battery. It's a 212 megawatt or megapack, 350 megawatt grid scale battery storage project in Geelong, Australia, which will store enough energy in reserve to power over 1 million Victorian homes for half an hour. But 1 million homes for half an hour. That's a huge ease or break for the grid right there. And so the future is bright too. The product is sold out for 2 years already. If you order one now, you will not receive one for at least 2 years. And that's with Tesla increasing production massively. And now they have scaled up now this year, and they're able to build about 10,000 of them per year. 10,000 of them for now. And with that, N-Store and R-Store announced a huge partnership to build the Oneida energy storage project and confirmed that it's going to use Tesla Megapacks. And it is a 250 megawatt system. And it is, that's going to be the second biggest currently using the Megapacks. Another system coming online is a 196 megawatt hour battery system, the Pillswood project, which is near Hull in the UK, which is believed to be the largest battery or will be the largest battery in Europe. On top of that, Neoen, a French energy company, announced a massive 400 megawatt hour Tesla Megapack project in Australia. It will be one of the biggest energy storage batteries and projects in the world. That will be easily the biggest Tesla one. And as I said, these batteries cost around $2 million each. And Tesla has scaled their factory, as I said, to 10,000 in production per year. This means they can make 20 billion in sales this year alone from this product. They made about 85 billion from their cars this year. So that's how easily it's catching up to the cars, and it's only going to scale from there as they scale production, because as I mentioned, it's sold out for 2 years. So demand is not a problem here. It's been production and their ability to supply it. And so it could easily pass their cars within a few years, as I said. All right. All of this is amazing for both Tesla and for the environment. But this is a vegan podcast. So what are we talking about Tesla on here for? Wait until you hear this. All of Tesla's cars have all vegan interiors. All vegan. Tesla, are they the vegan car company? They're certainly the closest to it if they're not. So in June 2015, during the annual shareholder meeting for Tesla, PETA, People for Ethical Treatment of Animals, asked that the EV company become the first cruelty-free premium automaker. And in 2016, Elon Musk, the CEO, said that the Model 3, which was their new one and has been their best-selling car so far, one of the best-selling cars in all of California, mind you. Their top 2 models were the top 2 selling cars in all of California, ahead of even the RAV4 and the Toyota Camry. So huge news there. But the Model 3 would be available with a vegan interior, and in the middle of 2017, all Tesla seats became available from synthetic materials. Nonetheless, there remained one part of the car that came with an actual animal leather, the steering wheel. As Elon said, was a huge problem, was just finding a leather product, a vegan leather product that was durable and sustainable for years and years of wear, so that it didn't become a problem for Tesla to replace them. And the one thing they haven't been able to figure out is heating the vegan leather, like heated vegan leather steering wheels. And so all of that changed in 2019 when at the Tesla shareholder meeting again, at the behest of PETA again, Musk said that the last of the leather in the vegan 3, I guess it is a vegan 3, but in the Model 3 and the upcoming Model Y as well, which is the top selling car for them, will be removed with the inclusion of a new synthetic leather wrapped steering wheel. So now their cars are completely vegan. Now we hope they continue the path with both the Roadster and the Cybertruck, and with their past and how they changed this on, without really any pressure. They had PETA, but PETA owned it so small of a company, and Elon has a controlling share that he didn't really have to do that unless he wanted to, which shows that he understands the impact of animal agriculture on the environment and slightly cares about it in general, outside of, obviously, we know the Neuralink one, which huge hit on him with testing on the animals, and that there are reports of some dying. Very sad, and lost respect for him for that. But overall, it shows that he sees that as part of the environment mission. And so that's important. And so it shows that he most likely will make sure that the Cybertruck and the Roadster are both all vegan as well. And so this is exactly how Tesla describes their current interior. All vegan interior, softer than leather, yet far more durable and more stain resistant. Our custom engineered seating material is fully vegan and significantly more sustainable than traditional seating materials, maximizing comfort and aesthetics while maintaining our rigorous standards for durability and stain resistance. So it's important. They were able to stay up to their standards with a vegan product, so it shows that it works and it's not going to hurt quality, while also being fully vegan. This is a huge step. You rarely see some of the biggest companies in the world making all vegan moves. And so it's also good to see Pepsi doing that with them branching in to both Tesla and branching into Beyond Meat partnerships. And so it's good to see some of these bigger companies making vegan pushes. Whether it's just pushing into it because they see that it's making money now, maybe that's why. But either way, they're pushing towards veganism and pushing veganism onto their consumers, which is what we want and what we need overall anyways, either way. And so breaking it down here, Tesla is really good for the environment. They have the longest range electric vehicles in the market. They sell 60% and growing faster than any of the other US automakers out of them all, and they're all electric. Tesla doesn't sell hybrids. They don't sell any gas vehicles. They have their solar. They're one of the largest residential solar companies, as I said, number 3. They also have the Megapack, and they have their Powerwall for residential areas as well. Huge products that will allow us to move the grid more renewable and have the backup and kind of the de-stressor while we make that move. And on top of that, obviously, as I said, they own the chargers, and they've built the best chargers that they are now opening up to other companies' cars, which they have said they've never really intended for them not to be open for the other cars. But Tesla was the first mover in electric vehicles. So they didn't make their prongs and their connectors different on purpose. There was no roadmap. There was no standard when Tesla made them. And so now there's a standard. And so they're moving kind of in the way to make it easier for the other cars to use them. And so that's important. And of course, the most important for this podcast, the Who's Judging Vegan podcast, is that Tesla is an all vegan company, outside of obviously cafeteria sales, but their products are all vegan. And that is huge for what is, I think, what is a top 10 company in market value in the world, and maybe even a little bit higher than that, and definitely the fastest growing out of all 10 of those companies. We have the fastest growing top 10 company making huge vegan pushes onto their consumers. This is what we need, and it has me very excited for both my future, the vegan future, the world's future, and Tesla's future. And so all I'm going to say about that is Tesla, you like Tesla, you don't like Tesla, you like Elon, you don't like Elon. Who's judging? Certainly not me. I love this show, and I loved this episode of this show. Thank you for watching, and out we go.